Welcome, welcome, welcome to my quick little orientation. My name is Ressurrection Graves. I am the principal real estate broker of Invincible Vision Real Estate Group. And I'm glad you're joining us to learn more about how to obtain your license. We'll talk a little bit about training, and we'll go over a few things that'll help you, whether you're a new or existing agent, on transitioning over to our brokerage. So very grateful to have you. Want to get right into it. So the first thing that we want to kind of go over is, how do you obtain your license? If you've already done so, just give me just 2 or 3 minutes to let other people know who are very new, and we'll move on to some of the other good stuff. So how do you obtain your real estate license? If you are in DC, Maryland, or Virginia, which is where Invincible Vision Real Estate Group is currently working, then you need to, first of all, find a school. If you're in the state of Virginia, you probably want to go through Mosley. Mosley Real Estate Schools offers free continuing education classes. So a lot of people don't know that. It's worth it to go ahead and pay a little bit more. I'm not sure what their prices are, but I know they're a little bit more than the average. But for the life of you having your license, you can get those free continuing education classes. They're in a couple other states, but they are not in DC and Maryland. For DC and Maryland, you can choose whatever you feel is best. I know CE Shop and some other places also offer it. You can Google those. If you need any help, if you need any studying, if you need any support, we are here to be able to help you. I want to also just give a really quick shout out to Ashley Shepard. She is on here. You see that green A, she's on here. And she is helping me with Zoom today, and I really appreciate her. We'll get to technology later, but for those of us who have technology challenges, it's always great to have a resource and some support in that area. So I want to say a huge thank you to Ashley Shepard. She also holds a title as my very, very first agent. So thank you so much for believing in me, Ashley, believing in the vision and the culture and what we're going to be talking about today. And for those of you to follow, right? So in addition to you going to school, school is set up in different ways, whether it really meets the needs of your career. So if you can go full-time, if you can go during the day, if you can go through evening classes. I actually teach. I'm an instructor with Mosley. So when you call Mosley Real Estate Schools, you can say, hey, I want to be in Ressurrection Graves' class, and they will sign you up for my class. I typically teach during the week. I know if you are dual career, meaning that you already are in your career and then you're getting your real estate license, you usually want like evening or weekend classes. I don't teach during those times because real estate is my full-time career. And so I prefer to do it during the day. I prefer to get you in there and get you out within a week. And so it's up to you. You have to choose based on your learning style. But in Virginia, I do recommend Mosley because it can become costly for those continuing education classes. All right, so after you finish, you do have to, at the completion of the school, you do have to pass an exam through your real estate school to get out. Once you get out of the class, then the next step is you're going to have to sit for your PSI exam. PSI exam is a proctored exam where you physically have to go on location to PSI, sit down, have a pen and paper in front of you only, and you have to take the test. This is for DC, Maryland, or Virginia, right? So you're going to go through the PSI. You have to pass your national and your state. Now, in some states, it's all one big test. In Virginia, in DC, and Maryland, they are 2 tests. You have to pass your national, and then you pass your state. And let's say you pass your Virginia, and then you want DC, or you want Maryland, or you want all 3, right? Then you would only have to do your state again. You have to do the state for DC, you have to do the state for Maryland. You will not have to take the national again. Once you pass the national, you never have to take the national again, unless you end up upgrading and becoming a broker one day. You'll have to take the national broker exam. And then again, you'll have your home state and then take the tests for the other states that you want to be licensed in. Make sense? Okay. All right. So after you finish your PSI exam and you pass that exam, now you're looking for a broker. You want to figure out, who should I end up going with as my broker? So, of course, I'm going to say, come to Invincible Vision Real Estate Group. But I want to give you some of my highlights. We are really, really big on culture, community, collaboration, supporting each other. You really, really, in real estate, you really need to find not only your niche, right, which I teach during our training classes, but you also need to find a good community of people, for other professionals that you can work with. And you set up your networks, right? Networks that serve clients, but also professional networks that are going to help you. So we think we're pretty dope, pretty dope people to hang around. I'm very laid back. I'm very much about my business, very straightforward, honest, and I really enjoy having fun. I I joke with people and say, I'm always looking for friends, but I don't use that word lightly at all, right? Um, but I'm always looking to be able to build relationship that can lead to friendship. And so I joke with people and say, I want to make millions and go to the Maldives. Like I want to have those relationships where I'm able to be successful in business and in life with the people that I am around. And so that's sort of my standard. So when we talk about culture within Invincible Vision Real Estate Group, I want that for you as well, that we're able to laugh and joke together. We'll have like chili cook-offs. We'll do some barbecues. We're hanging out at the pool, things like that, but we're also handling our business. Real estate is very social. And a big part of selling real estate is your social sphere of influence, your environment. So again, in our training classes, these are some of the things we'll cover: marketing, branding, sales. We'll kind of talk about your networks and things like that. As for obtaining your license, becoming a sales agent, joining a brokerage, you're going to want to have a great network. And we think that you're in great hands if you decide to choose Invincible Vision Real Estate Group. All right. So let's go to the next slide and see what we got here. Okay. So after you pass your PSI exam, then there are some steps that you need to take. You don't just say, hey, I want to be with your brokerage, and then you're in. There's some paperwork and things that you have to go through. So number one is you're going to fill out our independent contractor agreement. So a lot of people are under the impression that when you become a real estate agent, that one, all of your clients come to you from the broker. That's not true. You are not an employee. You are a 1099 contractor. That means that you're essentially running your own business. But the law says that you can't just go out and start your own business because you don't really know anything about real estate per se. You've passed the exam, but there's no practice. So, the law requires that every real estate sales agent is connected to a broker, and that broker is going to hold your license, right? So in choosing a broker, you do have to fill out an independent contractor agreement. Every brokerage has them, right? They're in their own brokerage form, their own variations. You should read them. It is important. But we have our own ICA agreement. You would fill that out, you sign it. You would turn in your direct deposit form and some other forms that we have for you. And then you would pay your onboarding fee. We do have an onboarding fee. Not all brokerages do. We do. We offer something a little bit different at Invincible Vision Real Estate Group. So one of the things that we offer is our agents are able to learn residential, commercial, and business brokerage all at once. We allow you to be able to operate, to have access to the software, technology, everything that you need to be able to operate on the commercial side of real estate, which is a completely separate industry from the residential side of real estate. They are very literally night and day. They are not the same. The laws are not always the same. Well, I should say the laws are not the same. There's some basic brokerage act laws that are the same, but for example, fair housing does not apply to commercial real estate. Now, you still can't discriminate against people, but it's not that same law. Does that make sense? So there's a lot to learn about the difference between residential and commercial, and then also business brokerage. The benefit that you have with being with us, we're a smaller brokerage. I'm not looking to ever compete with like other big national brands that you've heard of that have 100,000 agents or what have you. That's not really my goal or my intention. I really wanted to put together a brokerage where I could have agents to come in that I could coach, that I could support, that I could really like love, want to help you to build wealth. I think a lot of agents treat this like it's a job, and it's not. It's an opportunity for you to give yourself a raise. It's an opportunity for you to be free and to set your family free financially. If that's something that is important to you, you can use it to take better trips. You can use it if you want to save for college tuition. You can use it to pay off your own houses. But then after you do all that and you pay your bills, I would like to be able to be there to encourage you, to help you, to educate you, to train you so that you can then take that future income that you make as a real estate sales agent and you can begin to build wealth yourself. So some of the things that you get with being an Invincible Vision Real Estate Group is that financial counseling, not only personal finance, but also business. If you want to learn about business credit versus personal credit, if you're looking to start your business, you're going to definitely do that with us. I would much prefer to pay your business entity than to pay you and your social security number. So that's one of the first things you're going to learn in training. So you'll fill out your paperwork with us. You're going to do your direct deposit. You're going to do all that, pay your onboarding fee. And then you're also going to have to turn in some paperwork to us, right? So I need your driver's license, your social security number. That paperwork is going to stay in your file. No one will see it. It'll be locked away, but it is important for us to have it. And then your business entity paperwork, as I just mentioned. So business entity, what is that? I'm going to use the example of the state of Virginia for a moment. However, you can do this in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So in Virginia, once you pass your PSI, they're going to do your background check, take your fingerprints, do all of that, take your application. There's an application that must be filled out. Your broker, that be me, has to sign it for you to be able to have your license to be set up with our brokerage. They will end up issuing you a license number. That's going to be in your personal name, right? You would separately have to fill out a business entity application. When you fill out that business entity application, you get a separate license for that. We can't pay you in your business name until you have actually filled out that application, been approved, and we receive a business entity license on behalf of your company. Your company has to be registered with the state, so we need a copy of your business license that is registered with the state. We need your articles of incorporation. We need your bank information for your business account. So if we're paying your business, it has to have a business bank account, right? And then we also need your federal EIN number. So you go to irs.gov, you're going to set up your EIN that way. Again, these are things that we actually go over through our training, which I'll talk about that at the end. So that's the paperwork that we actually need from you. And then after you fill out all that paperwork and you're ready to get started, you have to join the Bright MLS if you are local to DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And if you are, let's say, in Williamsburg, or if you're in Tidewater, if you're in Southwest Virginia, if you're somewhere else, then there's going to be a different MLS. What MLS means multiple listing service. So in this case, those public formats like Zillow, those are third party. We actually have information that's only privy to licensees through the MLS. So you would sign up for your local association, right? You would sign up for SentryLock. You would sign up for the multiple listing service that's near you. If you're in DC, Maryland, Virginia, Northern Virginia, it's going to be Bright MLS. So those are the things that you have to pay for after you get your license. Most people think you go, you sit for your exam, you're out, boom, I'm a real estate agent, I'm going to make $1 million. But if you've ever started a business before, you know that you have to put something in order to get something out. And in order for you to run your business, even someone who opens like a convenience store, you still have to pay for the ability to run credit cards. You have to pay for the inventory that's in the store. You have to pay for the cash register machine. You have to pay for the person that comes and picks up the money and takes it to the bank for you. Like, there's a lot to pay for when you're running a business. So keep that in mind. These are business expenses. You will be able to write them off as tax deductions. I'm not a tax advisor, but we will have one to talk to the group, to talk to all of our agents, to walk you through those tax deductions. So you have to join these different places. They do cost money. I won't quote you on what they cost here, but just remember that you'll discuss that with me. I'll tell you who to go to based on where you're going to be operating, and then you'll join. It does cost a couple $1,000s in the end. I usually tell people that you should set aside like $2,500. If you set aside $2,500, you won't be disappointed. You'll be ready to get started once you pass your